Congressman, we begin with you. You were there for the circus yesterday.
Yeah.
Here you got a guy that we know lied 19 times, obstructed justice, felon, and every Republican president is worse than Watergate.
Yeah, Sean, here's the fundamental issue is this. The president was falsely accused of this whole collusion narrative. Falsely accused. Do you investigate the false accusation, or do you investigate something Bob Mueller has already spent 22 months on and came back and said there was no collusion and did not indict on any type of obstruction of justice? So the Democrats, they're going to do the latter. They're going to focus on continuing to do what Mueller's already done. They're going to continue to do this. And think about these three key facts. They got memorandums of understanding between the respective chairmen on how they're going to coordinate their effort to go after the president. They first bring in Michael Cohen, who sits in prison for lying to Congress. That was their first star witness. And their second star witness is, as you point out, John Dean, who pled guilty to obstruction of justice. And, of course, he came in yesterday to supposedly give us information on obstruction of justice. So this is just what they're going to do, and it's wrong, and the American people understand it.
Okay, the FBI investigation, the House Intel investigation, bipartisan Senate investigation, Mueller report. 4 conclusions. They now want a 5th investigation.
Exactly right.
And you know what? You don't get another do-over. I think the president and his team are right. They will have no part of it and will fight every aspect of it. Sarah, your quick reaction, I know it's just breaking, to Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch. And you had a column out today about Barr. Advises Trump to invoke executive privilege as Cummings plans a contempt vote. Explain.
Well, I think first with Tom Fitton's information that he talks about regarding State Department officials and the genesis, actually, of this origination of this investigation into President Trump. I truly believe, and I've been speaking to sources all day today, Sean. One, in fact, is a State Department official, somebody that was there during the Obama administration, that said to me, the genesis of this investigation will begin and end with members of the State Department. That's how serious this is. And that is why, as we look at the scope of this investigation, and I'm sure John Durham, as well as Attorney General William Barr, are looking at this, it's not just going to be about what happened with the FBI. It's going to be about who was involved also at state, at DOJ, as far as John Brennan, Clapper, and all those other characters were concerned.
To both of you, do you both believe at this point that, in fact, in an attempt to circumvent American law, American constitutional rights, civil liberties of Americans, do you believe that there was the outsourcing of intelligence gathering by top intelligence officials in this country to allied countries like Italy, Britain, and Australia? And if true, what does that mean? Sarah, you're shaking your head. We'll begin with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a part of this investigation should be requesting from our allies overseas exactly what was asked of them. Because think about this, Sean. What they could have asked was, could you please monitor this person? Because we believe these Russians or these people are connected to something that's going on in the United States with the election. I believe that some of our allies had no idea in the beginning what they were actually doing. I believe some of those allies were very upset about the fact that they found out that they were part of, they were coerced into basically gathering intelligence on a presidential campaign. And I believe those allies, based on people that I've spoken to, will come clean and tell the DOJ exactly what happened.
Jim Jordan, go ahead.
Understand this fundamental fact. The FBI was on notice prior to October 21st, 2016, prior to going to the FISA court. They were on notice from both the Department of Justice and the State Department about Christopher Steele, the key player in this, the guy who put together the dossier, who was paid for by the Clintons. They were on notice of all kinds of problems. But when they went to the court, they didn't tell the court the Clinton campaign paid for the document. They didn't tell the court that Christopher Steele was biased, so much so he had communicated directly to the FBI, to the DOJ, that he was desperate to stop Trump, and they didn't tell the court that he had been terminated with the FBI because he was out leaking information.
Does it go further?
It may.
In other words,
that's why we got to know who. That's why we got to know who Mr. Mifsud is.
How do you interpret, Jim Jordan? How do you interpret this letter and what is being said by the Deputy Attorney General when they're talking about other intelligence people? Who are they talking about?
I think they're talking about this Azra Turk, this lady who was put next to George Papadopoulos, pretending to be somebody else. So they got to be talking about that. I think they're looking at Mr. Mifsud, this guy whose name comes up all the time, and we don't know where he's from.
Do you think they outsourced intelligence gathering?
I do not know, but I think Bill Barr and John Durham and the folks at the Justice Department are asking the right questions. And that's what you have to do in an investigation. Ask the right questions, get the facts, get the information, and each and every day we learn more.
I ask all the time, do you think I'm over the target?
I do.
You're over the target.
I certainly
That's all
do.
I want to know. I want to know if I'm over the target. All right. Thank you all for being with us. So we get